Josh spoke at our school, and he did an amazing job engaging the kids and making them think of their life in a way they hadn't really thought of before, which this really sparked discussions in classrooms all throughout the school and really opened the lines of communication between the staff and the students, which is so valuable and important in today's world.
Then one day, I was in the dugout, and there was this gentleman who was kind of quiet, sitting off in the corner. After a period of time, he started talking to me.
He was asking me about school, and I told him where I was at the school, and I told him about my parents and the alternative school and all the problems I had. And he goes, well, you're a big kid. Maybe you should be playing football. I said, well, my hometown doesn't have football for my age.
And I'm in this alternative school, so I can't play football. And he says, what if I could work it out, Josh, so you could play football, would you be interested? I said, yeah. Would you not embarrass me if I were able to set it up so you could play football?
And it was just like an opportunity to go play football with all these normal kids was just like a fantasy of mine. So a goal will let you see past where you're at and also give you a path to get there.
I was starting to feel like I was starting to gain some momentum. And right at the end of the football season, the coach gave me a pamphlet for a local Division I school. The local Division I school was having a football camp that summer.
As I said before, I was in a dysfunctional, poor family. At the time, we didn't have any money. So I was able to get my grandmother to pay the deposit, and I took a bunch of lawn jobs through the summer, and I paid my way to go to this football camp. And I got to this football camp, and I'm telling you guys, I was out of my mind.
It was amazing. This big stadium, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I felt like I was living in somebody else's world compared to the life that I had. And one day I was walking back to the dorm, and this guy comes up and we start having a conversation.
He goes, well, where are you from? And I told him. And he goes, well, I recruit for that area for the school. Really? You're a big kid. How are your grades? Not good. Well, you better get them up. You get your grades up, you work on that frame, maybe I'll be recruiting you someday. Keep in mind, guys, I had not been in a public school in years. The last several I was in, I was kicked out of. And now I go to college? So a goal will be help you see past where you're at, give you a path, and give you the motivation. That became my goal. That day, that became a goal of mine.
Now, this is not a story of me being the best football player in the world. I wasn't even really, honestly, the best player on my team in high school.
I was big, and I was stubborn enough to keep working my way through all the things I need to deal with, the strength, the speed, all that kind of stuff. I was gonna do it no matter what. It was everything to me. It's all I thought about, it's all I talked about. 4 years later, that guy shows up at my school. And guess what? He was there recruiting me, and he remembered our talk. And that was an amazing opportunity. Would you guys agree that that goal pretty much saved my life?
See, I went to college that year, and it was tough. I went from being the biggest kid on the field to being just another kid on the field. In all honesty, I maybe wasn't quick enough. There was a whole bunch of things, but my whole freshman year was a struggle. Near the end, I started to feel like I was coming to my own. I started to get more aggressive.
After my freshman year, I was playing basketball in a 3-on-3 tournament, and I broke my foot.
So I had to sit and watch all the spring practice in the cold. It was pretty rough. So I'm gonna make a comeback. And then right near the end of spring practice, I was walking from the stadium back to my dorm, and I stepped in a pothole, and I re-broke the bone in my foot. So I had to get a screw put in my foot. Okay, I'm gonna make a comeback. I'm not giving up.
So then I had to spend all summer trying to work out in the pool, trying to do all these different things to lose weight because I was always struggling with my weight.
I got back to the next season, I had lost like 30 pounds over the summer. I was ready. I was trying to show off in front of my friends after one of the first football practices of the season, and I was trying to dunk a basketball. You guys think I should be trying to dunk a basketball? Probably not. I broke the same bone in the other foot. So immediately I got a screw put in that foot, and I thought, this isn't gonna work. How am I gonna play? How's this gonna work for me? And so I transferred to a Division II school. Thought I'll play a lot quicker.
First practice, I'm doing a drill. I cracked the bone around the screw. I went and saw the doctor, and he says, Josh, you really need to consider taking up golf. I was done with football. My dream was dead. The dream, it took me from being a throwaway kid, at least that's how I saw myself, being this throwaway kid to being this star.
Who are you to think you could do this? You always knew you were a failure. You always knew you couldn't do it. You were right. See, I wasn't like you guys. I didn't have an opportunity to learn about building my self-esteem and then learning about my attitude. I found a goal that was bigger than life, and I chased it.
It was that dream, and it was gone. See, I would love to tell you guys you're gonna set a goal, and you're gonna reach it, and everything's gonna be great. But you might be in a relationship that you think it's gonna have a wedding in it, it's gonna have kids in it, but that relationship might end. You might have a company that you're really concerned about their pension, but you might not make it to that point. Life will give us challenges.
I found myself in a very, very dark place. I didn't view my goal as something that saved my life. I viewed it as just another waste of time.
I lost control of my eating. I got over 400 pounds. One semester, I was on academic probation. They told me that I couldn't get any more financial aid till I got my grades up. Basically, I got a letter saying I was about to get kicked out.
Here we go. You got kicked out of a bunch of schools when you're young. What's the difference now?
One semester, I just skipped finals. Why? Because I had given up. During that season of my life, friends, I didn't see any light.
Thoughts went through my mind like, as I'm going to sleep, maybe I'll get lucky and I won't wake up. Tomorrow will be better without me in it, is what I would say to myself.
But fortunately for me, at that time in my life, I ran into this class that I took just by accident. And this professor had all these interesting ways of teaching, and he got me reading. He turned me on to this author, and this author, and this author. And I started gobbling up these books, and I started reading, and I started learning about self-esteem. I started learning about my dad. I talked to my grandmother and learned about why my dad was that way. And I was able to forgive him and move on, and I began to change. And that's when I came up with personal revolution.
I went from thinking that my life is not worth living to thinking, I can do anything I want. That dream didn't work out, but guess what? It still was awesome. I was better off for having set that goal than not setting. See, depression and those thoughts will try to isolate you. They'll try to get you off into a corner by yourself and tell you nobody else feels this way. Nobody else understands. Nobody else cares. That's a lie.
Now, some of you guys might not be in this place, but there might be somebody here who is. You say, Josh, I feel you, man. I feel that darkness. I feel that dark place. But I don't have anybody. I would like every staff member.
I want every one of you to raise your hand. All the principals, all the teachers, all the counselors, every single person in this room.
Now, if you're in this room and you say, Josh, I'm in that dark spot. I don't see any hope. I don't like who I am. I'm asking you guys to look around, because what you see around you is you see people who spent tens of thousands of dollars, years of their life to get a degree that would get them certified so they could get a job to help you.
For all of the other students in this room, if you knew there was somebody in a place like that in their life, if you knew there was somebody that was sad, that sad there was darkness, and you would hope and pray that they would come to you. You would hope and pray that they would come to you and talk to you about it so you could help them. I would like you to raise your hand as well.
Nice and high, guys. We got a lot of hands up. If you're in that spot, please look around.
Look at all of these people that are waiting to help you through your spot. What are you going to say to the future? How about that? Here I